All right, guys, it is the last week of the CrossFit Games Open, and 18.5 is 11.6. So we are doing a 7-minute AMRAP of reps that are going up by threes. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and so on, so forth, of the two movements, barbell thrusters and chest to bar pull-ups. Everyone saw this coming. Everyone saw it coming that we were going to do thrusters. However, I did think we were gonna see dumbbell thrusters. Whatever the case, it's gonna burn, but at least it's only 7 minutes. I was hoping for 11.6. I love knowing how much time I have to work hard for, and something about knowing that you're working hard so you can work for longer is not necessarily what seems like a party for me. I don't know about you. Let's go ahead and talk about a warm-up. Something like this is very simple. So for me, like we've told you before, and for myself, I'm gonna come into the gym, 10 minutes on the bike just to get my heart rate up. I'm going to make sure I really work into my ankles, warm up my ankles, my knees, my front rack position, my overhead position, my shoulders. Basically, you want to be able to hit every position so you're completing the reps without getting any no reps. So some of you might be a little bit tighter in your front rack. Make sure you warm that up. Make sure you're hitting your depth in your squat, locking out overhead, just so we don't do any extra work. So in the warm-up, you're gonna come in, get your heart rate up. You're gonna start getting into your ankles, your knees, your hips, warm up your shoulder, warm up your wrist position. And then from there, I recommend that you get your heart rate up and get it spiked before you do the workout. So do things like maybe some sprints on the assault bike, on the rower, something prior to you doing the 3, 2, 1, go to get your heart rate up, and then take 3 minutes to recover, 3 to 5 minutes to recover fully before you hit the workout. So for me, I know that I perform better once I have what I like to call opened my lungs up. Because everyone knows that pain that you feel when you first start doing a workout. You almost, you maybe don't feel like you're hyperventilating, but everything feels a little bit tight. Your chest feels tight, you can't quite breathe, your adrenaline's really high, and it's very uncomfortable. And usually in a longer workout, we settle into a pace. Our breathing settles down. So in something like this, where you don't have the amount of time for that to happen, do it before you start. So get warm up all your positions, warm up your shoulders. Whatever your limiting factor is, if you have limiting factors in the movement, make sure that's good to go. Get your heart rate up, then recover 3 to 5 minutes, whatever that is, before you hit the workout, 3, 2, 1, go, and then give it everything you have. All right, so now we're gonna talk about maybe some accessories you might want to use. For me, I'm gonna have knee sleeves on, nothing too tight, because we're gonna be moving really, really fast, and for me, I don't want to build up too much blood above and below my knee, or what starts to happen is the fatigue hits and you almost can't quite move. That's if my knee sleeves are too tight, if I have my knees wrapped too tight, it can be very uncomfortable in such an intense, fast workout with very light weight. So I'm gonna have a knee sleeve that gives me a little bit of heat and warmth to keep my joint warm, but nothing too tight. Grips, like this one. You guys have probably seen gymnastics grips. Some of you probably use these all the time. There's tons of different ones you can use. Find something that's comfortable for you. On that note, if you don't typically use grips, I don't recommend doing it now. If you want to give it a try during your warm-up and you have a friend that has a pair or you just got a pair, if they feel good, go for it. If they don't, practice with them later on, not during the CrossFit Open. But something like this is definitely going to protect your hands. It's not fun to tear in workouts. I'm not going to lie to you. I will tear my hands to do well in this workout. But that is not something that I'm going to promote to all of you. It can be quite the process to recover from a torn hand, and it's definitely going to affect the rest of your training week. Those of you that are doing the Open for fun, those of you that are not trying to go to regionals, not going to the CrossFit Games, there's no point in tearing and ripping your hands up so you ruin your regular training during the week, right? For those of you that are used to using wrist wraps, again, feel free to use that. The weight is fairly light, so I would just recommend not using anything too tight that's going to cut off circulation to your hands and then cause you discomfort on top of whatever other discomfort you're feeling in your body during the 7 minutes. Now let's talk about breaking up our reps early. It's important for each of you to know what you're capable of to help decide what your plan should be. 7 minutes is not a long time, just like what we just did, the 9 minutes with deadlifts, handstand push-ups, deadlifts, handstand walking. You had to know how you could handle the weight and to know what amount of reps were a good plan for you. We want to limit the amount of time that you rest in between sets. So something that could be a great idea is a day before you do the workout, maybe try and do, not at full intensity, but a couple sets of thrusters and chest to bar pull-ups to get an idea of what is going to be good for you, what's going to be comfortable for you. If you guys watched the open announcement and the cool down show, you may have listened to Annie Thorisdottir. She was talking about how she recommends doing the thrusters unbroken if you can. And that is because the amount of time that it takes for you to put the bar down, right, stand up, relax, and then get back to your bar, pick it up and get it back into your front rack position, it just takes a long time. Versus if you break up your chest to bar. You can drop from the bar, stay right there, jump right back up. So the time in between sets is much shorter on chest to bar pull-ups than it is on your thruster. However, if that is not in your wheelhouse to go unbroken for a majority of the 7 minutes, don't do that. We don't want you to redline early on. I want you to be reaching that redline point when you're pushing with everything you have in those last 45 seconds, okay? With that said, don't hold back. Don't pace it so much that you kind of feel like you have a total fifth gear in the end. I don't want you to be pushing so hard in the end that you then think, oh man, you know, I sandbagged a little bit and I could have given it a little bit more early on rounds. Just be smart, and I do recommend if you're not really sure what you're capable of, try it out a little bit. Don't do the full workout, but try it out a little bit, maybe a day prior to doing the workout for real, and see what feels good for you. Say, that's a wrap. It's a wrap.